I'll stop talking now. Okay, so yesterday we were trying to fetch the data from an API using the service and then using that service in our app component. And that were throwing some sort of errors. So no problem, we'll check it once. Okay, so now we'll check the console and we'll try to solve the errors. Okay, so here let's first go to the service here, and we are trying to use the HTTP client. So if you might have noticed about all of these things, so they are some called as HTTP methods. In that you have most famous post and get, right? These are some of the famous HTTP method. Put is also there. Post and get are highly used. So we are using that get method only, which returns the data, and fetch returns the promise. So again, it's a like, the reason is I'll tell you, if you are using this particular part of returning the data using an in standalone components. Standalone component means your app component is stand alone. It does not depend on anyone. How we can say that? For that, go to main.ts, and here you might be seeing that there is app component and then there are the providers. That's it. And there is nothing else. Now what we are going to do is we are going to change the service accordingly, because Angular is not supporting it, but it will support. Let's change it once. So same thing is there. We have a weather service class, right? Same thing. There is no such change. And we will use these two things, private API key and API URL as well. So I will keep both of them. This particular method I will remove. It's not using the HTTP client, and that's it. Same thing. I have declared a API key and a API URL along with a constructor. Constructor is because we want to create its, we want to call this whenever object is getting created. Same function we will create here as well, that is fetch weather, and this fetch weather will take one value of city that will be in string, right? Now we are going to use the same method fetch that we were using in normally. So it returns a promise. So I will cast the function to be a promise and any type of promise. What I have written, a promise of any type, because we are going to make use of fetch method, and fetch it returns a promise. So let's do it now. The first thing that we need to do here is we need to fetch it. So this function will return fetch because we know that fetch will return a promise. So we are writing fetch. You need to keep the URL. So I will keep dollar brackets this dot API URL means first we need to keep the URL current dot JSON. After that, what we need to keep? Question mark key equals to then dollar bracket. What is the key? Key is equals to this dot API key means you have declared the fields there that I'm using. You can directly write as well. After that, you need to keep a and symbol. Then you need to pass the value of q as well. So this q equals, let's say, dollar and brackets. Here I will write city. So this is the return statement now. This is the return statement. After that, same thing, dot then, and this then will catch a response, right? It will catch a response, creating the arrow function here. Now this response, it will return the response in JSON format. Return response dot JSON, right? We have to do this. And when this done then completed, you have to write next then. Here you will be having the data. So what this API returns? Data dot current. Remember, it returns one particular part as current. So you need to map that data. Data dot current. Now we will try to use this fetch weather in our app component. So first thing, I'm just writing this particular part, right? Go to, now our app is loading and let's check the console, and console is not throwing any error, means you are trying to use it correctly, right? You are trying to use it correctly as console is not throwing any particular error. So what I will do is, how I will use this here in the check weather. So same thing you need to do, this dot city everything. After that you need to keep dot then. This then will accept the data, right? It is accepting the data. What I will do is, let's print this data to console. That's it. Go to Angular, write the city name, check weather. So you will see that some sort of values are coming, right? Some sort of values are coming. And that's what we need here, right? That's what we need after clicking on check whether values are coming. The next thing that we are going to do here is same way, removing this console.log. How many fields we were having, D, city and all of those fields. Now we will set those. So I will write this dot D city equals to this dot city. After that, we will write this dot temp underscore c equals to data dot temp underscore c. This dot wind equals to data dot wind. Now you know why I'm not writing current, because you are already fetched the current only. You will see that now it is not. Let me open console here. If I'm writing HYD here, check weather. So it is showing HYD and 32, right? It is showing the weather. We will cast this data. So go to app component. You have set the temperature, wind speed. This dot humidity equals to data dot humidity. Then what else we have? City, temp, wind, humidity. And whenever you are setting the temperature, you need to keep a string as first, that temperature colon plus. Same with the wind speed. So you need to keep wind speed plus data dot wind plus kilometer per hour. right? You need to keep this. Third is data.humidity. Okay, so this is data.humidity. So right here, t name and things are coming. This is a icon image, right? This is for icon. So if you go, let's print this data to console also, so that we can check how we can get the icon as well. So when this data is going to console, so you will see that condition is there and then icon is there. So if you are trying to set this dot image, this dot image equals to, if you are trying to set data dot condition dot icon, data dot condition dot icon, because it comes there only. So write HYD, check whether, so icon is coming now, and that's fine. So what we need to do is we have to use this fetch only, but with returning a promise from here, by returning a promise. Now app.component.ts is not fetching the API. Who is fetching the API for you? Weather.services.ts. This particular part is fetching the API, right? Have I provided the GitHub link of this project? No? Are you sure? I think I have provided. Yeah, I have provided. So I'm closing this project now, but means I will update it again using services. Here I am removing my API key and here you need to change it. So I will write your API key. Okay. And rest everything is same. Okay, so that is done. Now let's talk about this particular part of dependency injection. So yesterday we have seen that it's a design pattern in Angular that allows Shrikant, till now we haven't discussed like how to connect Angular with Spring Boot, and generally it's not even a module here. That part you will see in the Spring Boot classes only, that how to connect Spring Boot with React or Angular. Okay, and just take care of yourself and your family as you are going through a very tough time. Hope things will fine soon. So we are going to discuss about dependency injection. So it's a design pattern that allows the automatic provision of dependencies to component of the service. Now this topic is like going on in a very different way, because this is the only thing in Angular that gives different kind of situations. Let's say how. let's say you are going to any website and this website is showing you some of the products to buy, right? There are some products that you can buy. Now let's say this particular website, you in this particular website you have opened this particular product. Let's say this is a mobile. This is a mobile. Now you want to purchase this mobile. For purchasing this mobile, there will be a buy now button, right? There will be a buy now button or simply buy. So in that way, this buy now button, if you are clicking on this buy now, it will open a payment page for this particular product. But this, let's just take a case that this buy now button is available on more than one location. Let's say it is available here also, it is available here also. Because it can happen. It is possible that one website is showing you buy now button at multiple places, and both will, all of the buy now button will do the same thing. They will do the same thing. Then how it is going to be done? This is called services and dependency injection. The logic of buying the product is written at a service which is injected at multiple places, which is injected at multiple places. For that, we are going to see something. On a very simple note, we will do it. Okay. On a very simple note, we will do it. So, let's say we are having a test project in that SRC and app services. So, let me first delete the service. Just understand the working. In app component, whatever we are having, I will remove this. In this app I will create three different components, right? So open it. Test project is the name. Ng generate component first, means I will create three different components, that's it. Ng generate component second. Ng generate component third. Any doubt in these three components? Simply generated three components. If we want to use these three components, so we have to mention them here. So I will write import first component. It's not loading. Wait. Import first component, in the same way second component, and in the same way third component. And as well we will write them in the import section, that first component, second component and third component. In app.html we will render them. So app hyphen first, right? Then we have app hyphen second. Then we have app hyphen third. That's how they are created. And now let's run this project. So you will see that here it is saying first works, second works, third works, means they are working fine. Now what I will do is I will create a subscribe button in all of the three components, means I will design them, right? I will design them. So shall we do it? So let's design the first component. So here I will create a container as first. In this container, at first I will show a heading that welcome to first page. Welcome to first page. Then I will show a heading. Please subscribe to our channel. And then H3 I will create a button to subscribe. So this is the subscribe button. So if you check it how it will be coming, simple way, please welcome to our page, please subscribe. And this subscribe button is taking some CSS properties. They might be written in app CSS. So I will remove them. Subscribe button is coming now. That's it. What I want to achieve here, I want to achieve simple thing. If I'm clicking on the subscribe button, the button text should change to subscribed and color also should change. I think YouTube, you know that if you are clicking on subscribe button, it will change to subscribed, right? If you are clicking on that, it will change to subscribed. Okay, let's do it. For that, the first thing that you need to do, you have to write the CSS. So for the div, I will write the CSS that it is heading padding of 10 pixel and border it is having of 1 pixel, solid black. That's it. To the button also I will write some styling that its height is, let's say, 45 pixel, its width is around 70 pixel, its background color is red, text color is white, text color is white. So it is coming in this way. Let's increase the and removing the border. So you will see that this button is coming in this way, that subscribe. Cursor pointer you can give. Cursor pointer and border radius of around, let's say, 10 pixel. So here this is your subscribe button. If you are clicking on this subscribe button, the value should change to subscribed and the color as well, right? And the color as well. For that, let's write the logic. Okay. For that, I will write the logic. Go to HTML file again. Everything is done. Logic we have to write in typescript file. So first thing here, I will declare a text, and text is in string and its initial value is subscribe. And here this value is coming using string interpolation. Is there any doubt? Means the button's value is coming from string interpolation. That's it. Now we have to attach a click event to this button. So I will attach a event of click and it will call a function as change subscription. Change subscription. Why I am writing change subscription? Because if user is trying to click on subscribe, so it will change to subscribed. If user is clicking on subscribed again, so it will change to subscribe, right? Both way we want to do it. So function name I have written as change subscription. Go to TS now. Here we need to declare that function that change subscription, right? So what this change subscription will do? This dot text equals to subscribed. First thing that it will do is subscribed. So you are clicking on this, text is changing to subscribed. But if you are clicking again, it is not changing to subscribe. It's not changing. For that, to this function, you need to check a condition. So I will write if text is equals to subscribe, or you can write this dot text. If this dot text is equals to subscribe, then you need to change it to this dot text equals to subscribed, and else you can change it to subscribe. Now it will work parallelly. Subscribed, subscribe, subscribe. It's working fine. We need to change the color as well. For that, remember we need to write the ng style. We need to write ng style. How we have to write ng style? For this button, you need to check the condition. What condition you need to check? What condition we need to check? My case is if text equals to subscribe. If text equals to subscribe, bg color will be red. If text is equals to subscribed, at that time bg color will be, let's say any color, this one, dark color, some. This is what I want. For that, what we need to do? ng style. We need to keep the ng style or something else. Yes. And I think you forgot also that how to keep ng styles, right? Anybody remember ng styles? Yes. Anybody remembers what is ng style? Remembers? I forgot. First we need to import the ng style, right? First we need to import the ng style. So let's import it. So if I am importing ng style, so it's coming, and here we will use the ng style as well, right? In first dot component, we need to keep the styling now. So I will keep ng style equals to, yes, how we will keep the style now? This we have discussed, right? Yes, checked. Hello, checked. First thing that this is the first thing that I want to say is if you are not practicing, you will even forget the basic concepts. Those are generally asked. This ng style is a directive, right? Which directive? Attribute directive. Attribute directives are not written directly. So if you are trying to write in this way, that but it will not work, right? It will not work. Whatever the condition I have pasted here, someone dropped this in chat box. The reason for not working here is it is depending on some external factors. So it will not work properly or it will not even work. Let's check. In this way, it is telling that it can't work. Go to inspect and refresh if it is throwing any error. So there is no error. So I told you that it will not work. So it's not working because you are not dealing it correctly. If you want to go through the notes, you can go. If you are maintaining some, if you're writing a single line also, go through it and tell me fast how to use ng style. Use your resources, no problem. In this week, we are having the test of Angular. After button click, how to got the next any pages. Chandan, we have to use router outlet for that. Means it is coming in the next topics. So we'll complete it soon. Yes, anybody got the ng style? So the command that you just now dropped is changing for entire thing. It's not even changing to other colors, right? The style that we need to change, that is background hyphen color. First thing that we need to change the background color, right? First we need to change the background color, and the dependency of background color. So if you check it in this way, let's refresh, and here the style of this button is depending on some particular factors. So either you can use a ternary operator here, right? You can use a ternary operator, and yes, whatever you guys are doing by not practicing Angular, so I think it's not a good thing. You should practice at least the basic things, right? You should practice. So here what I'm saying is that the ng style means the style of this particular button equals to double quotes you need to keep which style you are talking about. So first you need to keep the curly brackets as well. Then you have to tell that you are talking about background hyphen color. You are talking about background hyphen color. From where its value will be coming. Now you need to check a dependency here. Like what is the value of text? So if you are trying to check it here, you can say that get bg color, get bg color, and you can write it as a function that get background color. The background color will be coming from this function get bg color, means we will write a function for it in typescript. If you go there and it will show that it does not defined on exist component, so go back, and here I will write a function that get bg color. In this same thing I will check if else. If text is equals to subscribe, so it will return red. It will return red. This get bg color will be returning red. And here this else will be returning, let's say, this color, right? In this way, I have tried to write it. That if text is subscribe, then it will return red. And if the particular part is not subscribe, then it will return this particular color. Let's check it once. So here subscribe is coming, subscribed, right? That's it. Okay, this was for the first component. This was for the first component. Same thing I want to do in the second component and third component also. So first thing, let's copy the, or means we will write it again. It's not a big deal. Go to second component, open the HTML. First create a container which is having one heading that this is second component. Then H2 that please subscribe to our channel. And then it is having a button that is subscribe. Write its CSS property. So to the div I will write some CSS property that it is having padding of 10 pixel, and it is having border of 1 pixel solid black. Then I will write some properties to button that its height is 45 pixel and its width is 80 pixel and its background color is red. and color colon white. So button is coming here. You can write the other properties as well, that it is not having any border. So border is none, and it is having border radius of 10 pixel. That's it. So yes, second component is also coming now. If we are clicking on the subscribe button, it should change to subscribed. Now you might have remember that again we need to write the same logic. In the second component also, we have to write the same logic as the first one. There is no other option. You have to write it. You have to write it. There is no other option. So in second component.ts, I will open now. So all of these things you need to write here as well in the second components typescript file, like this. And this button is having a click event in which it is calling what is the function name, change subscription. Okay, and it is having ng style as well. So I will write ng style equals to what style you are keeping. So I am keeping the background color, from where it will come get bg color function, right? In second component you need to import ng style as well. See, you are doing the same thing again, and that is unnecessary. You are doing, there is no need of doing the things again and again. So let's refresh. Subscribe, it's not working here. Change subscription. Subscription, it's fine, right? So now there are two problems in this code. What is the first problem? The first problem is you have to write the subscribe logic everywhere. In, let's say you are giving the subscribe button at three places, you have to write the logic at all the three places. And as a developer, if you have to write lot of code for a simple thing, then you are not a developer. The the second problem here is, when I clicked the subscribe button here, it should also be subscribed, right? If you are clicking on the subscribe button in the first component, means you are subscribing the channel, but it is not getting subscribed, because both the logics are written at two different places, and they will have their own logic, right? They will have their own logic. This text is not changing to subscribed. Second component.ts, where it is, change subscription. Okay, this value should be coming from a string interpolation. Subscribed. Now this is a problem. First problem is when you have already clicked the subscribe button, why it is not getting subscribe at all the places? It should be subscribed at all the places. And the second problem is you have to write the code every time, and that is not even useful. That is why services and dependency injection comes in action. That is why dependency injection and services comes in action. Now you can write this logic in a service, and all of these components will be using that service, right? They will be using that service. Let's check how. So first thing that we need to do, let me create the same thing in the third component as well. So third component's HTML file is having all of these properties. So I have created the same thing to the third component as well. So we need to import it. So you will see that this is third component, it's coming here. Subscribed means we have three different components and you have to subscribe at three different places. Means they are not having any synchronization. If I am unsubscribing this channel, or we can do one thing, after clicking subscribe button, it should be showing unsubscribe because subscribe is already done. So you can easily write it. So here this text will change to unsubscribe. Same thing will be there in third components ts file. So now this is done. Now it is showing unsubscribe. This is unsubscribe. Now let's say you have subscribed to it. If I'm clicking on unsubscribe here, it should change the properties in all the files, right? Because whenever you are subscribing to a channel and a channel is having 3 pages, means you are unsubscribing from others all, but they are not getting unsubscribed. Remember, they are not getting unsubscribed. Got the problem? That if you are clicking on subscribe button at only one location, it should subscribe all the other three buttons as well, but it is not doing. Second thing, whenever you are unsubscribing, it is not unsubscribing all. And the main problem is you are writing the same logic, same code at three different places. Means technically you are increasing the lines of code. Means you are taking more space and that's not even required. How to solve this problem? Wherever you are doing the repeated logics, we can do one thing in the app folder, create a services folder. In the services, I will create subscribe.service.service.ts. Screen is not visible. Guys, my screen is visible or not? Those who are joining online. If my screen is not visible, check your internet connection because everything is fine from my side. So here in this service, I have not generated the service using particular terminal. I have just created a service here. First thing, it should export a class by name as subscribe service, right? It is exporting a class as subscribe service. After that, it should have a constructor as well. It is having, and it should provide, means you have to inject it this dependency. So it should have injectable, and in injectable it should be having the provided in also that root, means all other components in this application can use this service. They can use this service. So the first thing that you have to do, that all the buttons will be there in all the component, and these button will call only one function. Let me do it in the first component only. So services is open and first components HTML and TypeScript. So see now, forget about the second component and third component. We will talk about first component only. This button is having these properties, right? This button is having these properties. That is fine. And this button is calling one function. That function is change subscription. Which function? Change subscription. So to the subscribe service, I will create one function as subscription. I have created one function as subscription. Now what this subscription will do, it will check. What it will check? It will take one value in the form of text, because it will take one value as text. Now what it will do? It will check that if text is equals to subscribe, if text is equals to subscribe, it will change that text to text equals to unsubscribe, or you can say subscribed. Unsubscribe. First thing that this function will do, right? It will take a text and it will change that value, right? It will change that value. Can we really use it? Let's try. First, you need to import the subscription service. Imported. Here, you are trying to do a change subscription function. Let's remove it. So here, I will write constructor. This constructor is having a private service, and the type of service is subscribe service, right? What function you have attached here? Change subscription, right? So call this function in component. Change subscription and use the service dot subscription function. It is accepting one text value, or basically you can write this dot text. For now, I am removing the background color as well. Now let's check it's working. So keep the background color, otherwise it will throw error. If I'm clicking on the subscribe button, it is not changing to unsubscribe this time. It is not changing. For that, go to inspect and go to console. And here, there is not even an error also. Right? There is no error. Why there is no error? Here we are trying to execute the subscription function. So just write a console value to this function. Right? What I will do is we need to create else also. Else text equals to subscribe. And then we will print a value to console that service is working. So go there. Service is working. Service is working, but text is not getting changed. Right? Text is not getting changed. Why? Because this function is trying to set the values directly. You need to check whether if or else is not working. So try to print this value inside this if statement. Right? So after taking the value, I am printing it inside if statement. So currently the value is equals to subscribe, and you will see that subscribe service is working. Means this else block is, this if block is working. Because this is working, then why it is not setting the text to unsubscribe? Do one thing, you can return this. After setting the value, you can write return text. Return text. And here also it will return the text. Right? It is returning. Now, what will happen after returning this text? Means something should happen, right? Let's check one more thing. Now you are returning this test, so you should well accept it also. This time service is not working. Here we have written, let's write a console message that service is working. Keep it back, subscribe, service is working, but subscribed is not changing because here it is returning something. This function is returning something. So you need to accept this value. Go to component here and same thing I will write that this dot text equals to, and here if I am writing it in this way is not assignable. Type string is not assignable. We have some problem. This will be small s string. Right? That was the problem first thing. Here you are accepting the value in text and it is changing to unsubscribed as well. Right? It is changing to unsubscribed. Now you have written this logic in service. Can we use it in the second component as well? Let's try it once. So I will remove the first component and open the second component's TypeScript. Change subscription I will remove, and here at first I will import the subscribe service imported. Create the constructor. Constructor is using a private service whose type is subscribe service. There is a function named as change subscription, and this function is used writing this dot text equals to this dot service dot subscription, and subscription will take one text value. So this is this dot text. So let's check it for second one. Right? Second one is getting unsubscribe, but problem is still the same. First one is not getting subscribe. Right? First one is not getting subscribe. So quickly import in the third one also, because third one is using the blend logic. So again, we will do this in the third component. So first we need to import subscribe service, and change subscription will use a private service. There is a private service and the type of this service is subscribe service. This dot text equals to this dot service dot subscription, right? So subscribe and subscribe. Size is not getting fixed, so open the CSS file for all the three components and increase the width. Let's say 90. Now we have solved one problem. Which problem we have solved? We have solved the problem that logic we are writing at one place only. After that, we are reusing the logic, right? So first problem we have solved, that writing the logic at a single place. So subscribes, but the second challenge is still persisting. Mean the second challenge is still there. That when you are clicking at one subscribe button, it should subscribe at all the position, right? It should be there on all the position. Means we need to add the synchronization here. That synchronization we'll do tomorrow now, because again a large concept and it can't be completed today. So first thing, your task is, how many of you still not completed the weather application? Like we can check, right? If you are not saying.